it's Mike. During this video, I'm going to talk about some of the pros and some of the cons of being lean. And when I define lean, I define it from my perspective for males below 10% body fat. So for me, I've really dropped body fat by quite a bit. If you don't believe me, you can go back to some of my earlier videos, go back to January or maybe December of last year, and you can see that I've just, it's been a process, but now, I like happily, do just have the leanness, I have the cuts, and I'm excited about that. But I'll go over some of the cons that most people really just don't think about and they don't acknowledge. Firstly, just understand that in terms of leaning out, the last 10 pounds is very, very different than losing your first 10 pounds. And when I say that, I mean, for most people, just simply reducing their calories and exerting more effort in the gym, burning more calories and just having a deficit will work. However, when it comes to getting below, like for most people around 14 to 15% body fat, you have to really keep your body kind of guessing. You have to worry about your hormones, your thyroid function, your testosterone levels. You have to incorporate things like refeed. I wouldn't necessarily say that you have to keep your body guessing, but you have to implement different practices. For example, when people typically hit a fat loss plateau, they may decrease their calories further. And you can keep on doing that, but what happens when there's no room left? What happens when you find yourself eating like 1,200 calories a day and you're a 170 pound male? Then something's wrong. So when things like this happen, you have to incorporate diet breaks. You have to really be strategic as far as the cardio you're doing between high intensity interval training or just steady state. So there are some tricks, of course, to leaning down, and it's going to exert just a lot of headspace, a lot of time which you can spend towards your business or being productive or learning about something. You're going to have to really just focus in on gaining the knowledge so you know what to execute on, because fortunately, there's so much research out there and there's so much data that people have already really paved the path to success for you, and you can just educate yourself and not go through those mistakes again yourself. Of course, the first con is just getting there is damn hard. Secondly, afterwards, to maintain a good level of leanness, it's a lot of work. For me personally, I have to be doing cardio at least 2 to 3 times per week. I've tested this in the past. Several years ago, I was maybe 8% body fat, and I convinced myself that I could just stop doing cardio and eat a little bit less in order to compensate. It didn't work. After 6 months, I pretty much went back by, I went up by maybe 4 to 5% body fat. So you have to be conscious of it. You have to watch your cardio, and you'll just find that you're really kind of over-examining things you're eating. You will constantly find yourself being nervous about, did I overeat? Did I eat too much sugar? Did I take in too much saturated fat? So that really is a muscle you have to build. I can talk about meditation, mindfulness, and things you can do, like build a better relationship with food, because that is a journey in and itself, but it's something that I've worked on well. And now I find myself, I'm just enjoying it, right? As far as other con, don't forget that attending social functions will be pretty hard. This is the importance of having a refeed day or a day where you can just really have the psychological, the social relief. Because otherwise, the rest of the week, you're going to be eating so clean that people are going to be judging you. People are going to be commenting. If you attend social functions, again, very likely there are not healthy options. And if you're on vacation, you have to do your homework in advance as far as finding places where you can eat nutritious foods. On vacation, it's great to obviously indulge a little bit, but that being said, it's very easy just to indulge all the time, and by the time you come back, you've gained 10 pounds, which nobody, of course, wants. Other con, of course, is just the dedication you have to the gym. Me, I have to be going to the gym maybe 6 times per week, and most people will find themselves doing the same thing. It's very easy to go through a lean mass phase where you're trying to build muscle and still have a life on top of that. And I say that because if you're going through a lean mass phase and you're trying to put on mass, you don't have to account for the time to do cardio. You really simply just go to the gym maybe 4, maybe 5 times a week, and you lift weights for 40 to 50 minutes, and that should be enough. But if you're somebody that's looking to lose fat, you have those sessions as well as cardio, which can maybe 30 minutes to an hour, 2 to 3 times per week. However, depending on your genetics, there are people who, of course, can get away with doing less cardio. Females, for example, it's a completely different category. There's a lot of science showing that females, they just naturally have to do more cardio to get rid of their body fat. Some of the stubborn body fat they have across their legs and their triceps, they have something called really just different receptors that are easily tapped into when you do cardio just to get blood flow into there. So for females, a little bit different. And again, for the typical male who's like considers themselves an endomorph or somebody who puts on weight easier, you will have to, expend that time, of course, doing cardio. As far as pros, of course, like the visual appearance, there's a lot to be said about just how clear your mind is when you're in good shape. When you're in good shape, it's no longer a distraction because everybody has that voice in their head saying, man, I have to lose weight or I have to gain muscle. Once that voice is just minimized, afterwards, you're just like free. You have time on your hands. You start your day very, very positively. Like literally some of the first thoughts you'll experience yourself having, or at least I did, is, wow, if I accomplish this, like this project, what could I do with my business? What could I do with something else if I really put my time and devoted some mental energy towards it? So obviously when it comes to appearance, your confidence overall is going to increase. In a suit, you will look really, really good. Unfortunately, when you're wearing clothes, you're going to look small. That is just the reality of natural bodybuilding, that when you lean out, you're always going to look small. But when you wear a suit, you really strike people to be that disciplined person, and you really come from a place of authority and come from a place of power. There is one drawback though when it comes to pros, is your face will look like a lot younger. I mean, a lot younger. This can help some people, but for elder people, they may have a different issue, that maybe if you're somebody in your 40s, I know a lot of people that don't want to lean out just because like the wrinkles on their face are more pronounced. Really, really hope that was helpful. I would recommend everybody just once does try leaning out to less than 10% body fat, just because it's so educational. You're going to learn so much about supplements. You're going to learn about the importance of hydration, caffeine. You'll learn more about foods, and it's just going to set you up really for a good foundation for the rest of your life in terms of eating habits. And then as well, whatever you learn, it's going to spread out. These are, there's friends you have, there's family members you have, maybe there's people who are sick whom you know, and your knowledge is just going to really translate to benefits for everybody around you. So hope that was helpful, guys. Don't forget to click subscribe. I love your comments, and I pretty much look at all of them, and I do my best to respond, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next time.